This is the latest edition of Front Up, and I'm Whitey Willauer, and I've got a great guest here today, Sunny Dailey. Sunny, tell us about what you do here on the island.
Well, I've been living on Nantucket since 2004, and I came here with young children and was a stay-at-home mom for many years. But in the last 5 years, I've been teaching childbirth education classes at Nantucket Cottage Hospital, and I'm also a doula. I work both at the hospital and at home births.
At what?
Home births.
Oh, home birth. Mm-hmm. So people would have the babies at home?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they'd hire me for labor support and preparation.
Now what happens when they have a birth at home? How do you get the birth certificate?
Well, the midwife is in charge of all the medical aspect. I'm there as labor support. So she helps them file with the town for the birth certificate and helps her guide the family in the direction for Social Security, things like that.
Now, if a baby's born at home, can you take the baby into the hospital afterwards?
Sure, you can. Absolutely.
My nephew got born on the kitchen floor.
Surprise!
Surprise! They wouldn't allow it.
We try not to have surprises, yeah. But, you know, sometimes these things happen.
Yeah. Sunny, what is a doula?
A doula comes from the Greek word, and it's spelled D-O-U-L-A, which means to serve. So I am hired by a couple to serve their needs in childbirth. So what I do is I will meet with a couple of times before the birth of their baby, accompany them in labor, and help them with position changes, comfort measures, massage, information, help them navigate some of the choices they have to make in the moment, and then stay with them postpartum for a couple of hours to help with breastfeeding and acclimating to life with a baby. And then I also visit with them after they go home to make sure once they're at home, they sort of have their legs under them and are feeling comfortable being new parents.
So now what else do you do here besides being a mother?
Besides being a mother and teaching childbirth classes and being a doula, I have a fledgling green company where I'm helping people sort of green their homes or green their businesses. That's brand new for me this year, so that's something new I'm trying to get off the ground. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of volunteer work. I have a nonprofit that I run for new families to support education around babies in the family, breastfeeding, things like that. Let's see, I was active with the farmers market last year as the manager.
You managed the farmers market?
I did, yeah.
Tell me about the farmers market that you mentioned.
Yes, the Farmers and Artisans Market is run by Sustainable Nantucket, and it's been in its downtown location for 4 years now, and it runs from June until September. So last season, I was the farmers market manager and helped orchestrate the weekly ongoings of the market, help the vendors set up, things like that. I'm no longer doing that, but I hope that the farmers market will be able to continue to grow. I think having a downtown location is fantastic. It's a real nice sense of community. It brings people together. So next year you can look for the farmers market in downtown Nantucket through the summer.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, I've got my hand in a couple of different things.
I would say so.
Yeah. It's a great community, and there's plenty of things to be involved in. So I feel fortunate that I'm here.
Now, how old are your children?
I have a 13-year-old daughter who's at the high school and an 8-year-old son who's in 3rd grade at the new school.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, they keep me busy.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. They're great, though, because they really push you to kind of teach them what's important and help you to look at things in a different way. So, for example, we were just talking recently about town meeting, and because the kids said, well, what's a town meeting? So we had this great dialogue about that, and it's good. It keeps you on your toes and keeps you kind of, you know, not getting stuck in a rut, and really helping explain, you know, why things are the way they are, and if there's a great injustice, which kids think there's many of them, you know, you kind of have to work your way through that and explain why it is and what you can do if you don't like it. So.
Now, are you involved in the school?
I am. I'm head of the parent organization at the Nantucket New School, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get my foot in at the high school. But they have a great organization at the high school. They have so many great programs running. I love the principal. I think he's doing a great job, but I have to figure out how I'm going to get my foot in there too, because I really clearly like to be involved in what the kids are up to as well.
Now, what did you do before you came to Nantucket?
I was a mom. That was it.
That was it?
Yeah, I had my daughter when I was very young. And when I had her, I helped start the biggest herb farm in New England. But that was hard work. I was 23, I had a baby, she was strapped to me, and I was planting for hours and hours and hours every day. And I think about that now and I'm like, how did I do that? But, when you're young, that's what you do. So after that, then I just stayed home for several years because that was plenty to keep me busy.
Now, what brought you to Nantucket?
That's one of those great stories, everybody you meet from Nantucket. How'd you get here? We were living in Kansas on my husband's family's farm. They had 100 acres. And his family, his father passed away and his mother put the farm up for sale. And I'm from New England. And I said, I can't stay in the Midwest. This is not my cup of tea. We need to go east. And my family lives in Maine. My brother lives on Nantucket. And we packed up the kids in the car and we started driving to the east. And as we were driving, my brother called and said, "There's a man out here who needs a carpenter. What do you think?" And my husband and I looked at each other and we said, well, we don't really know Nantucket. We've never been here, but let's go check it out. My brother had raved about it. And we came for that one job and we've never left. We fell instantly in love. It's a great place to raise kids. Everything is close. You can take the kids on hikes and you're not walking up a mountain, but you're in a beautiful spot. The community is incredible, diverse and vibrant. So we've never left. It's just been a great fit for us.
How do you like the high school?
I've been pleasantly surprised. I really was skeptical. My daughter went into the high school and, we sort of prepared her for some of the struggles that she might encounter. And it was a seamless transition. She got right in. She made principal's lists of straight A's her first marking period. She's in all honors classes. She got in with the Veritas crew, the writers of the newspaper.
Really?
Found her little group of kids. Every teacher that she's talked to has met her on the level that she needs them to meet her on. It's been fabulous. I was really surprised. And, I'm delighted because that's really what high school should feel like.
Now, how about the new school? What's your feeling about that?
That, again, was a good transition for us because we went from being a homeschooling family, so one-on-one constantly, and we were looking for a small classroom that would be able to adapt to my son's unique needs, having been homeschooled from day one. So he's in a class of 14, and there's 2 teachers, and just that small dynamic has been perfect for him. He's kind of getting his legs under him and learning school in addition to academics, in addition to social components. And it's been great. And another really vibrant school that allows parents to be involved. So it's been great.
Now you do birthing on Nantucket.
I do.
All of the babies that are born on Nantucket, do you have,
I wish. I wish. No, I'm hired independently by families. So a lot of people don't know what a doula is. They don't know what we do. They don't know how I'm different than a doctor or a midwife. But really in the last 5 years, doulas have sort of risen to the surface and become sort of this hot word. So people are starting to learn what a doula does. And now that I've been practicing for 5 years, there's families that have used me and can say to their friend, "Oh, this is what Sunny's done. This is why we hired her. This is how she's different." So it's starting to catch on. But I'm averaging about a dozen births a year, and the hospital does, I think, 113 a year. Mm-hmm. So by no means am I at every one, but making my way into more and more of those situations.
Do you coordinate carefully with the hospital?
I do. The families are in charge of their care, so whether they choose a hospital doctor or they choose a midwife. Mm-hmm. And then what I do is I help them understand what their choices are within that and how to advocate for themselves. So for instance, if they don't understand a certain procedure, I sort of help them find the information they need and encourage them to dialogue with their care provider about, why would I need this? Why wouldn't I need this? And then when they're actually in labor, I go with them to the hospital and sort of remain that anchor that's not emotionally involved. So that if they look at each other and say, "Well, I don't know what to do," I can say, "Okay, well, we've talked about this," and kind of filter through that information before they make a decision.
So you actually, the child is born in the hospital?
Yeah, if they're having a hospital birth, they're born in the hospital.
But they could be born at home.
If they choose a home birth and they're working with a midwife, then I would be at that scenario as well.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Oh, it's great. I mean, there's nothing better than watching a child come into this world and helping that be an easier transition for the parents.
I never was allowed to be a part
really?
of that. Yeah. Back in the good old days, the husbands were told that they're extraneous.
Yeah.
To stay away.
Yeah, hand out the cigars after the fact, but that's right. It, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to talk to the doctor or anything else like that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Well, I see our time is running out, but I really appreciate you coming on, Sunny.
Thank you for having me.
Person to interview.
Thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
You've got a future in TV.
Thank you. Thank you.